Have you ever wondered what would happen in the Skibidi Multiverse if only the Clock Titan existed? How would this change affect the other Alliance members, like agents, and in general, how would it affect the entire story? A lot of people misunderstood what I meant in my last video, so when I said only a Titan existed, it meant only on the Alliance's side, which means anything from the Alliance side. Yeah, so now that that's cleared up, we all know how overpowered the Clock Titan is in the series, but he obviously still needed some help from the other Titans. So let's remove all the efforts and battles of the other Titans and see if he would be able to clear the mutants and threats in the entire series. Right from the beginning, the other Titans were the ones holding off the threats, like the Skibidi scientist and some mutants. Since they are not there, it means the Skibidis wouldn't have an infected Titan in their arsenal. Instead, they'll attack the clock base, just like we saw in the original, but this time with more aggressiveness, based on the fact that the agents are the ones fighting the battles. So fewer casualties on their side, unlike in the original, where there were two Titans. When the clocks see that the base is about to be overthrown, they'll have to call on the Clock Titan, and that's when we'll get to see the base form of the Clock Titan. Just like in the original, he'll be able to clear out the base of the mutants and toilets. They'll make the magnet mutant the next time they'll attack, and we all know how this magnet was not able to have any significant effects on him. Rather, the fault was on his own side with low energy reserves. Even when the scientist joins in and tries to immobilize him, just like we saw, he'll be able to break free. Since the infected camera Titan would not be in this case, it means the Clock Titan would not be captured by the Skibidis, and he'll be able to smoke the magnet mutant. The scientist scrambles away like a scaredy chicken, so there's no need for any rescue mission. Since the other agents and other races exist, the agents would be going from base to base, basically clearing out toilets and mutants. The base Clock Titan would be with them even longer. This would make things even easier, as even in the episode where there was a heated battle and the Skibidis planned a trap where the Titans had to retreat, I think the scientist would know what he's up against. Maybe this time they'll experiment with better and stronger magnets, like making them bigger. Let's say mounting magnets on bigger mutants to get better effects. Even if they are ambushed in this episode, the Alliance should be fine, as it was just basic toilets, and the scientist would not be dumb enough to confront him again after the last encounter where he narrowly escaped. Instead, he'll be working on his plan for the Clock Titan, since he's the only Titan the Skibidis would be all focused on, trying to defeat him. After clearing up the base, they'll move on to more and more, and definitely this would have a huge toll on the base clock, but he'll be fine. However, in the episode where the Alliance invaded a particular Skibidi base, where the agents were about to be eaten by the clown toilet, we would not get to see the epic machine guns light show. Instead, it'll be the base clock. Notice that the agents would get upgraded earlier, based on the fact that there are fewer Titans to worry about. Their attention would go to the agents so they can match up to the ever-increasing threats. But the scientist has a plan, which would change everything in the series. Finally, he would have perfected his technology, so he'll form an alliance with Pennywise. Of course, he'll have a big surprise for the Alliance. When they attack the Clock Titan, things would not go too well for them. He'll be able to smoke the clown and fatally injure the scientist, but not yet. As he's about to finish him off, a very massive mutant would come in with giant magnets. This would be able to dampen his abilities. Although he'll still be able to physically fight, there would be no need to engage, as the scientist would have smiled. His plan has worked, and he teleports out of the battlefield. Then, the kamikaze rain would come in, and oh boy, would this be the end for the Clock Titan? As they rain down from the air, causing massive damage to the Clock Titan. But it doesn't totally take him out. He's able to retreat from the battlefield, which pisses off the scientist. But as he gets back to base, he realizes that the toilets have already taken over the base. Can the day get even weirder? He has no other choice but to join in with the other agents to hold off against the SCP toilets. Despite all the efforts, he'll just be able to disable the bomb, saving the base from blowing up. As for the SCP toilets, the damages he'll take from them would be very massive, but he'll still manage to defeat them with the help of the time stop from the large Clockman, as the effects of the dampener would still be in place. With this, the base would be saved, but at the cost of the only Titan they have. The Alliance would have to move him to another location where he'll receive upgrades. But it isn't over yet. This day must be a very hectic day at work for the agents, as they'll receive a message about the nukes. Oh boy, they still have to go on the mission without catching their breath. I guess that's what you get with fewer Titans on your side. They'll move on to the base and fight ferociously. The shapeshifter would come in and save the day at the base. Yeah, that guy sure has saved many lives in the series, even mutants that the Alliance fought so hard to put down. I'm still waiting for Drill Titan's reaction when he sees the 0-1 mutant. He'll freak out for real. Now that that's done, I guess they'll have some time to catch their breath, but not for too long. That's when the Menace Alpha would have formed an alliance with the Skibidis. And together, since the alliance doesn't have a Titan, it'll be easier for them. They'll have to keep the location of the secret base as hidden as possible if they really want to survive. Unlike in the original, where the scientist was able to find out about the base, Alpha, seeing that the alliance is in the open, would see a great opportunity and take it. She forms a fleet of toilets and mutants to attack the base with full force. This would force all the alliance members out of the base, and this would save the Clock Boss's life, as they don't have anything to prove to the Skibidis other than to wait for the Clock Titan's upgrades. But that doesn't mean they won't try to get the base back. All efforts, however, would be futile. The wait would finally be over, and the Clock Titan's new form would be unveiled. They would all be satisfied with what they see. This new Clock Titan would even have more extra perks, like minor upgrades from other races, such as speakers to stun his victims and others. Yeah, that would do just fine. So they all kit up with their best upgrades and move on the offensive to the base. Just when the Skibidis are celebrating their win against the Alliance, all hell would rain down on them. Chaos would spring up from all directions. When Alpha decides to take a peek at whatever is going on, she'll see in all his majesty the king of the entire multiverse raining attacks on the Skibidis. The scientist would realize that it's not worth it and find a way to retreat. But Alpha, still stubborn, decides to summon the Counter Titan and orders him to attack the Clock Titan. But he's just chilling, observing them. Just as the Counter is about to leap at him, he gets torn into pieces in an epic showdown. Yeah, my daddy would really run the show, showing off his new upgrades. Alpha realizes she has to report back to her master and tries to escape, but she's caught and, just like the Counter, is torn into shreds. With the Clock Titan now back, the Alliance would be confident that they can take on almost any enemy. But then they find out about the G-Man apocalypse and they know they have to act fast. So, a massive mission is needed. With the Clock Titan, the Alliance would storm onto the Skibidis' base to stop the G-Man apocalypse. The Clock Titan would battle with numerous mutants and toilets that the Skibidis have put in place to slow them down. I guess when it comes to the Skibidis' plan to immobilize him, it would fail, because if it's successful, that would be the end. Another reason they did it was because they knew the other Titans would have his back. But now he knows that he's the only hope. The Time Dome would be a dumb move. Instead, he can use the black hole ability from his upgrades to suck them into another dimension. Yeah, how about that, scientist? So with this, I don't see anything that would hold them down. I guess with a lot of effort, they'll be able to beat the timer and destroy the base before the G-Man even unleashes, as their plan to immobilize him has failed. But I guess the final boss would not be as easy, as it's the Sinister we are talking about, but we don't know yet how it would play out. But I guess they'll be able to reseal him back in place, as this guy is just too overpowered to put down. Yeah, so basically, the Clock Titan would be around to see the aliens, but I heard even the aliens are working on something to handle the Clock Titan. I just wonder what it is. It better be good, because my daddy is ever ready. However, check out this video to see what would happen if the Clock Titan got replaced by the Sinister in the Skibidi Multiverse. Unique Clockman out!